Welcome to episode 12 of Audio Logs. We're joined by Raphaël, Maxance, and Olivier from Sandfall Interactive to talk about the French RPG Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Shipping a game is always something of a miracle, let alone a new IP, and so we wanted to explore how the team managed to deliver such a massive project while keeping the sound team small and nimble. We also wanted to explore their designs, ambitions, and processes, so join us as we dive in. Hope you enjoy. It's not every day that we get an opportunity to interview actual knights on a podcast. It feels kind of surreal to be like, these guys are les chevaliers de l'ordre des arts et des lettres. So, welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for making the time. Also, thanks for accommodating with the whole time zone schedule. As you know, it's kind of wild that we're in 3 different countries right now. So, from Dom and I, 5 a.m. You guys, it's 11 in France, and Maxence, 8 p.m., is it? 7?
7 p.m., yes.
Yeah, okay. Right. So quite the span of time zones right now. So
very different time zones.
Special thanks for that.
Special thanks to you for waking up so early.
Wow. It's all good. You know, we're not knights, so we don't wake up at, we're not used to waking up at this time.
We don't have it in us.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys feel any different now that you're knights, or is it just the same thing?
No, the same, but it's really weird to have a medal standing on your desk. So,
oh, right. Okay, you got a medal for it.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal, but apparently we are not allowed to wear it. It was just for the ceremony, and that now that we have it, it must remain in the box.
Oh my god!
Apparently, there is a whole code around how you are supposed to wear a medal, but we are not military people, so we are not supposed to know about it. But apparently there is a code.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you wear it, I won't tell anybody. I promise.
Oh no! Because you don't have the shining armor and everything. It's just the medal.
No. Yeah, just the medal. And the title, of course.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Good enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about Clair Obscur and what is Sandfall, the sort of how you develop the game, how the team, I guess, shaped up the production side of things as well. But before we go anywhere, I would just like to get a bit more of an intro, like your path towards... Basically, before you got in game dev, what got you in game dev, and the path that led you to where you are today. You find knights. So does anyone feel inspired to get started, get this ball rolling?
Vas-y, Raph.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's throw me under the bus. Yes. So I'm Raphael. I'm the lead audio and music designer of the team. It's actually weird what got me into game dev because I was never a fan of video game. I kind of grew up in a family where video game was not really part of the culture. We just had a PS1 with a few games, and we only won it at a game. We didn't even bought it. So yeah, I grew up with very few games. And gaming was not really part of my culture until high school, where a friend which was really in love with Halo and Assassin's Creed, and basically we were going to his house every afternoon after class to play games. And it was the kind of guy who can speak about video game as if it was a real science. like talking about Assassin's Creed as if it was real history. And he kind of gave me a bit of passion for that. And especially it was almost for him that I wanted to work into video game. And because I wanted to get into something closer than to film scoring and stuff like that. But in France, especially when you are living in the countryside, you don't really, there is not really a golden path toward film scoring. Now things are different, but back then it was not. So I tried to find something closer to that. I found a sound design school. I really didn't know what was sound design, and I went into it. And turns out this school had 2 years course in France, and it was supposed to have a 3rd year in Montreal, in partnership with Ubisoft Montreal. So I told my friend, "Hey man, I'm going to do the 3rd year in Montreal. I'm going to have an internship at Ubisoft Montreal, and I'm going to work on Assassin's Creed. I'm going to put there an Easter egg just for you." Turns out I met my wife. It was my girlfriend back then. And the school opened a 3rd year in Montpellier, which was in partnership with Ubisoft Montpellier. So I stayed in Montpellier. I never worked on any Assassin's Creed game, and I never fulfilled my promise. But it got me into game dev, and I really fell in love with game development. Even today, I'm not much of a gamer, but I really love to work on game.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah. You can't plan everything, but sounds like it worked out. What games were you working on before Sandfall?
So I spent 8 years at Ubisoft Montpellier. I worked on the Ghost Recon Wildlands as sound designer, and on The Crew 2 as a sound designer. So I had my car racing game period, which was really nice. Then I switched on the Beyond Good and Evil 2, first as a sound designer, and progressively switched to being a music designer and a music supervisor. And finally, I worked on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was my last production at Ubisoft Montpellier before I went to Sandfall. And I kind of made a progressive exit out of Ubisoft. I spent 2 years working part-time, starting to do some freelancing on the side. And that's actually when I joined Maxance and Olivier in the team at first just to do some music design consultation, and progressively I took more responsibility on the project.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
And what's your title now at Sandfall?
It's lead audio and music designer.
Okay, cool. Great.
So and now I can throw Maxence under the bus, maybe.
You're up.
My turn. Yes. So on my side, I'm actually a principal sound designer. That was my title in Expedition 33. When I was younger, I was a big fan of video games. I played the Mega Drive and Nintendo 64 when I was young. So I was always playing games and listening music listening music like blues. And after I started to listen some electronic music. And after this, I wanted to start to make electronic music. So I start to use the tools like Ableton Live at first, and after this, I wanted to be a technical audio engineer for recording music, and I start a school, and in this school, I have just one exercise to make some sound design for a video. That was just one exercise, and I prefer this than being a sound engineer. So I totally switched after to start sound design schools, and I do it for 3 years. Yes, 3 years. And after this, just when I finished, Sandfall just came in the same building in our school. So I just knock on the door and asked to an internship, and I got it, and I'm here since 5 years now, almost.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a great way to start into the industry. Is just start at Sandfall, start on Clair Obscur, one of the best game of 2025. It's just like
and he was the first audio guy. He kind of the founding father of the audio team.
Right. That's so interesting to sort of start on a game like that so early on. when you're starting your career, you don't know exactly at first what foundations to lay for a new project. So that must have been a crazy learning experience for you, Maxence.
Yeah, because I was the first sound designer. That was just Lorient who make a sound and no sound in the studio.
Okay.
But when I came to Sandfall, we was something like 10 person, and most of them was junior.
Right.
So we have a lot of part of junior, and after some people with more experience came in the studio. So when I came, we was almost everyone was a junior except Guillaume and the CEO.
Yeah.
So, what shape was the project when you joined? Like, was it playable already, or?
There is one map, but very different. A bit different. That was Go Blue in my mind.
Okay. Yeah.
Flying Waters.
Yes, Flying Waters.
Yeah.
And after when I start, they wanted to make a build for find some financement, some money.
Yeah.
So yes, you have the full gameplay, and you have the full gameplay, and you have some little cinematic, and one boss and few enemies.
Okay.
So
it was already like the skeleton was already there, and like
yes,
not too far from what the game is now.
No. You have the counter attack. You have everything. Just the gameplay is way more better now. The skills and stuff like this. But you have your skills. You have your the counter, the parry.
Nice. Okay.
And the enemy, everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a super interesting story. Cool. Well, we're gonna move right on to Olivier. Love to hear.
The bus is coming for you, Olivier.
Yeah. Watch out.
So when I start studying after like the high school, I start studying to be a commercial guy. So absolutely not on audio or whatever, but
to be a commercial director is what you mean?
No, commercial like selling things. I don't know what I wanted to do, so I went there.
Okay.
Without any reason. Just I have to do something, you know?
Yeah.
But I hated that, so I left the school like 5 months after it started. And I've done nothing for 1 year and a half, like playing League of Legends and doing some music and Reason 5 for the no one knows. And after I swapped to FL Studio and I'm Ableton because I like Ableton.
Yeah.
And so in 2019 I started to do the school, but Raphael and Maxence don't say that, but we all made the same school. We don't know, but we were all at the same school. And there is a legend at this school, like a guy very young goes to Ubisoft very fastly, and now I'm working with this guy because it's Raphael, you know. That was so funny. But I did only 1 year in this school because a teacher in this school were doing another school, which I know it was better because a friend of a friend told me this guy is a very cool guy and his formation is very fine. So I followed this guy, and I made 2 years of studying. And the first is like more on post-production, like recording on microphone and adding sound on a movie and anime, things like that. Okay. And there is another a year of school which is based on video games, and I don't know, I love that much making video games before started this year, so I get totally loved in this thing, and after this year I just get hired in the same company because this company had formation, a school, and the production part, and I get hired in the production part to work on the En Garde, a little French game. And after I think during 1 year I was alone to work on Evercore Heroes, which were a very nice game, but it fall out, so it's very sad because the game was very nice and everyone was so strong in the team. You know, this sort of game where everyone is so good, but the game doesn't work because I don't know why. But I learned a lot of things. Sadly, but I learned a lot of things because I was alone. Like after 1 year on the game, with a lot of with a lot of very strong people. Like one guy at my year, like I got the guy had like 20 years of experience, and I had 23 years old, something like that. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that's the contrast.
When you're born.
Yeah, it was so funny. And I was working with this guy, and I was like, I have to work like I know what I'm doing, you know? They don't have to find that I'm not supposed to be here. But it works at least.
Put like a fake beard on and you're like,
yeah. But it's always like that, you know, like before getting into the industry, you always think that anybody who's working in this knows everything and they've been doing this for so long, but then you get here and everyone's in the same boat. You're like, I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. So
I think the best thing to have in this industry is like learning how to learn fast. Is the best thing, I think. And I worked on this, and after that the outsourcing company where I was working just closed, and then I joined Soundfall after that because Soundfall were outsourcing in this outsourcing the audio in this outsourcing company, and it's closed, so I joined Maxance and Raphael.
Right. So when you joined, Maxence obviously was there, and Raph, you were there as well. It was just you three?
I think we joined a bit in the same time.
Yeah, like Raphael joined in January 2023, and I joined in August.
No, in June. I started in June.
Oh, yeah, really?
I think 2 months later you joined the project as well.
Oh, yeah. Well.
And when the outsourcing company closed, we all made the shift to directly to Sandfall, and that's when the audio team was started to be really internalized into the company.
Okay,
that's great. Yeah. So it's a small
I'm technical and cinematic sound designer, as everyone said.
By the way.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Which is interesting, right? That you literally the polar opposites of things: technical and cinematic sound design.
We were writing some things to the GDC, and I was like, I'm sound designer in cutscenes. I'm also technical sound designer, but I'm also mercenary sound designer.
There we go. Okay. So you just hop around everywhere.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know the big to-do list where there is a lot of things that take 5 minutes or 1 hour to do. I'm the guy who made all this things.
The ninja tasks.
Ninja tasks is a good name too.
Well, considering how you guys are a pretty small team, is there a lot of people who are generalists? Do you guys hop around between sort of different aspects of the game a lot? It sounds like you, Olivier, definitely do, but the rest of the team, was there a lot of that dynamic, or?
I think not necessarily. We kind of had each one our stronghold. So, for example, for Maxence and Theo, who was a junior sound designer on the team as well, it was everything regarding to battle sound effects.
Right.
For me, I was handling everything music-wise and the overall technical direction of the project. Maxence and Olivier did more of the artistic direction, actually. As Maxence was there first, he already built some artistic direction for the game. And Olivier was kind of handling a bit of everything else. And there was also one subject which was the voice pipeline, which kind of it was kind of the ball you throw at somebody else when you can handle it. Because we didn't have a proper voice designer who was like, oh, you are available, you are going to handle the voices during this time. And when somebody wasn't not available anymore, somebody else had to jump in. But I think we kind of divided the work. So everyone had a clear ownership on their what they were doing. So, and everybody was where they are feeling the best,
right,
and expressing themselves the best.
Yeah. Okay. And how big was the audio team? Like at peak of development? if we talk about just team organization and how the work was shared around?
Yeah, I think at peak we were 5.
Yeah, we always been 5 mostly, but not with the same people.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, we had Theo and Alex, 2 junior sound designers for part of the production. And in the end, we had also Charlie and Victor, who was audio intern, who joined us for the last few months of the production.
Okay.
So yeah, we are actually kind of pretty big audio team compared to the size of the studio, which was very comfortable, but also very necessary due to the scope of the project.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just again, circling back before we dive into the production of Clair Obscur and everything, I was just wondering, can we talk a bit about Sandfall, the sort of the journey / size kind of studio they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's got something?
I guess Maxence,
and in the manner that you all work out.
The bus is coming again.
I think
handle this one.
I have the answer. Yes, so but at first that was Guillaume making his game alone in this room when he was in Shanghai at Ubisoft. And after he was working in he go to not Irish but North Europe. I don't remember.
Yeah, he went to Malmö.
Yes, and he find Tom at this moment. He was working in the same studio, so he started to ask Tom some tips to create his own game. And after this, they moved to Montpellier, find François, who is a COO, and he started to work in an Airbnb with Nicolas for the art direction. And maybe they found Jen, the writers.
But she was not writer at this moment, I think.
Yes,
she was an actor, voice actor at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, but she used to work in finance actually, and she was bored, and she was trying to do some voiceover just for fun. And on the forum, that's how she connected with Guillaume.
And the Reddit, the /r is really like a free voice actor. Something like that.
Crazy, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I watched the Skill Up video talking about how some of you have sort of gone together, and yeah, like it sounds like also Lorraine met on Reddit. I'm kind of curious. Did you, Maxence, when you first joined? It wasn't Reddit, right? You didn't join via Reddit. You didn't join via Reddit as well, did you?
No. No. I just it's just because I was searching for an intern, and my friends who work at my old company, who I was student, told me, it's a new studio just in the front of our building, so you can check. And I just ask for my intern at this moment.
Yeah. So Sandfall announced that they need a sound designer for making a build, like Maxence said, and I applied to this intern, and Maxence won. That's the story.
Some competition there.
Yeah, but finally we are all here.
Well, it's really funny to think about those early days, because I imagine that you were probably not thinking, well, now. The success that Clair Obscur has had since then. I mean, like, what was your first impression of Sandfall and the game that they were making? Did it seem like a small game that was sort of maybe would have a little success, or did you really see like, oh, this looks like something great?
At first, when I saw the first image of the game, the first video, that was so impressive with the scope of the team. That was looked like a AAA. But personally, I think a lot of people have different experience about the game, because I didn't expect it at all that becomes famous like this. But yes, I don't know how to explain, but we have a little bit of different feeling about the game, and during the development for my part. And sometimes I was like, oh, it's the best game ever. Sometimes I was like, perhaps it's not that good. Sometimes and after it changed a lot of time. And but yes, when the game was released, I didn't expect it at all.
I think if I can add something, as a lot of people were very young in game audio, we don't add the experience to know that a game can evolve this much and can be that not that bad, but come from bad things to a very good things before, because it will be like we will playtest the game and check with QA what is going on and what could be better and things like that. And the game just grow up during the year. It was very insane to see that.
Yeah,
it's always... I think Maxence saw that much than me because he was on Sandfall like 5 years now.
Yeah.
4.
It's always so surprising to see how a game develops so much. I mean, it's bad for so much of its development until one day you're like, wait, actually, this is not bad. And it's like, it's usually at the end in that last month that it goes from looking all right to, oh shit, this is a game. People will play this game. Great.
Yeah, at some point, everything comes together and it's just click.
Yeah.
And it works.
It's like a exponential curve at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You always hope that moment comes.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I feel like we're talking about the game as if everyone knows exactly what it is and everyone played it. But could anyone give a just brief description of what it is / how you guys see the sort of pillars of the game before we go any further?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it's a French-inspired JRPG. So we can say it's a French RPG based in a very French fantasy in an imaginary world where each year there is a kind of mythical creature called the Penchenier, which wake up, draw a number on a big monolith, and everybody of this age just disappear. And so each year there is one expedition that is launched with basically the people who are supposed to die at the end of this year. And they make an expedition to try to defeat the Penchenier. And so, of course, you embody Expedition 33. And the game is a blend of exploration in kind of linear level, with a bit of open down. And you have some turn-based gameplay, some turn-based combat with real-time gameplay. So Maxence told it about it earlier. You have real-time parrying, real-time dodging. So it's kind of doing a bit of a twist to the classic JRPG gameplay. And the game also rely a lot on narration. You have more than 4.5 hours of cinematics. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of dialogue. So yeah, this game has a strong story it's trying to convey, and a very strong universe, because each level is very different from one to another in terms of visual, music, and what's happening in there. So yeah, that's the game.
Nice. You mentioned that it's a French RPG. Yeah. I always find it like surprising or impressive when, like, before playing the game, before getting my hands on it, I was like, okay, well, I see the sort of like stills or like the screenshots with the Eiffel Tower all warped in Lumiere. I clearly saw that the names were French, but playing it, I was like, wow, this actually feels like something else. It feels French, like that. There's something distinct about it that even if you were to remove the sort of like in the original VO, for instance, like when they curse and they drop like putain de merde, then they're like heavily like English accent, but still going French. I was wondering, like, what was the approach to get this sort of like culturally French, I guess, DNA in the game? Was it on you guys too, or?
No.
Feels like it's a trick question. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's during the recording session, we can see video on YouTube, like you see Ben Store like merde. No, not this merde. This more merde.
Yeah.
Things like that. During the voice session, Jen and Guillaume wanted to very put the cursor on the max on the French things, because it's so funny. Like, English people say merde and they can't very say it exactly like it need, and it's
The
very
R,
add something. Yeah, the R, the A.
Yeah, it's so Sometimes I thought it was funny, but then I was like, this is cool. Like it works for some reason, and like even in the music with the sort of like very, it's a made up language, right? Just to be like,
there is a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
but it's go ahead.
There is a lot of video YouTube like explain the languages and which what the music said during the language, and it's so funny because you can spoil all the game during the main title.
Yeah, it's kind of Lorian explained that the closer you get to the end of the game, the more clear the lyrics become.
Yeah.
But you kind of have everything. You have the names of the final boss in the very first track of the game. Actually, so it's kind of a blend of French, English, some made-up language, but with some kind of hidden meanings that you can then come back later when you know the game and kind of make a sense of it out of it.
Was this made-up language and the use of these names in the areas, was this something that Guillaume had wanted, or Lorien did it, or did you guys have a part in that at all? Or
I think it's Lorien.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He made up the language? No,
I think he wrote all the lyrics for the songs.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. I thought it was Latin the first time I played. I was like, oh, this is so like fancy.
It does
It's
feel
in
Latin. Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, that's English, that's French, that's not words. But yeah, no, that's okay.
We in ambiances in Lumiere we recorded like the team talking in the room and added this record in the ambience of Lumiere, so you can hear like some French word when you walk in Lumiere and talk with Sophie to the NPCs, and it adds something to the ambience because Lumiere is in fact Paris, so your French things works.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the French flavor come from the fact people just did it as they wanted to do it.
Right.
So yeah, we didn't try to like put the Eiffel Tower in every shot of the game like some Luc Besson movie are doing just to showcase, this looks like an American movie, but this is in Paris.
Yeah.
No, it was just we did a French game as French people, and I think we didn't try to force anything, but we just did what we wanted to do, and we assumed a bit of cliché stuff like the accordion in the music or stuff like that. But yeah, we really tried just to do it the way we wanted to do it, and we are French, so it made a French game in the end.
So you're telling me that the mime character with the baguette and like the beret, like this is typical sights you would see in France, right? It's not.
you can see those kind of cliché in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's why it's those kind of cliché. We try to embrace them. We are kind of making a bit fun of ourselves as well, especially when we created the baguette skin for the French version trailer, which it started as a joke on Discord and it actually became real. Yeah.
Oh. What's wrong with that background? Okay. Yeah.
It's my prey hotel.
It's fun to see. Like, I don't know. It feels very sincere. So there's something interesting there to not try to make something that's completely removed from the realities. Everyone that worked on the game. So yeah, I don't know. It's a side note that I feel like we could explore more and more, but
yeah, for sure.
I think sincerity is it's something that really drove all the production on the game. I think Maxence, maybe you can say a bit more about like the audio direction of the game. It really comes from your own musical inspiration and the stuff that you like to listen and you like to produce. Everybody, I think, just put what they are in the game, what they want to do, and it kind of creates something very sincere. And we didn't try to make the games that would please people, but try to do the games that would please us. And at a lot of moments we were doing some stuff that they are not very classic in video game development, but at a lot of moments Guillaume just said, "But yeah, let's go for it, and we'll see."
Yeah, was there any kind of like explorations that you've done in this sort of the sound design that, like you were mentioning how Maxence, your kind of music production bled into the sort of palette of the game? Sort of like, what, do you have any examples of that, of certain kind of things you use? I know you guys talk about using dubstep a bit in sort of gameplay. Yeah, is there anything you can say about that?
Yes, but when I was in intern with Guillaume, he always wanted to have something very powerful and asked me to say put some more sub bass and more powerful. So I start to using like dubstep tools, dubstep mixing and mastering tools
Right.
to create the sound. And like, for example, yes, OTT everywhere, OTT everywhere, and clipping the sound. For example, the gradient counter without FX, it's clipping, it's plus 10 dB, I think,
Okay.
and we clip it. And yes, it's this kind of stuff. And yes, for example, I literally put some Reese bass and drum and bass, neuro bass sound in the Lune skills.
It's super interesting that you mention all this, because I feel like when you play it, maybe you feel these things, but they don't stand out to you as like, oh, there's a weird drum and bass drop here. It sounds very natural. So how did you manage to weave in these things in the edit with other sounds to make it feel natural?
Because I use some classical sound design sound stuff and mixing with sub bass and Reese bass like this, but with compression and clipping and OTT and everything is very glue, and you can't hear exactly the Reese bass. Is very more complicated to check it because every frequency is in the top. So
yeah.
I don't know how to explain, but it look more natural, and so yes.
Yeah, and I think you applied a very consistent mastering chain on all the sound effects, which kind of help master everything, make everything consistent throughout the game. And that, I think, 1 or 2 times during the production, you rework all the sound effects, you pass all the sound effects through another pass of mastering, stuff like that, cutting some bass at some very specific moment, playing with automation on LFE and stuff like that to kind of really master the sound, to reshape it a bit. And it helps to have very powerful sound, but still a kind of controlled mix in the game.
Sounds like consistency was the key.
Yeah. But yes, every skills look like a dubstep track, so it's a cube.
Yeah.
And after we do some automation to create some dynamics on it. But it's
in
very
Engine
different.
you did automation? Sorry.
No, it's in Reaper.
Oh, you in just Reaper? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Because all the skill for the main character, for example, it's one track in the first frame. So I have one big track for the whole skill. So it's easier to process it, and you can do EV process directly in the wave.
Yeah, it seems like the approach that, from what I hear, that you guys have taken on this game is to keep it kind of simple. You know, in big games like this, easily you can see someone designing a skill with multiple layers, components, and randomize this and that. But what you're saying is very much the opposite. It's just sort of like, here's this big fat wave file that is that skill, and that works, you know.
Yes. And we have one files for one skills.
Wow.
So we don't have difference.
So no variations or anything like that.
No.
And was that like a decision that you've made, or did that just kind of feel natural and it was like, this works, so why do anything else? What was the thought process?
The problem was we have a lot of different skills in total. I don't remember, like 200, something like this. And in Sandfall in general, we have always people who redo things and polish things and change. So I did way more than 200 skills, and that was more easier for me to have just one wave, and if they change something in the video, I just keep the new video, do the new sound, and export in Reaper, and in 1 second everything is replaced. So that was one of the reasons. And why I didn't do some variation is just because we don't have too many times, and because it's a turn-based, so you will not spam the same skill in 3 seconds. So you do your turn after your enemy, your friends, and after it's you. So, and you will probably not do the same skill. So you can't see it. You have only one variation per skill. Yes, and you have just the hits when you touch the hit sound. It's not in the skill. So you have the hit sound, you have the voice, and the skill. So it's 3 variation. That creates a variation.
Yeah.
Okay. And was it tricky to balance this sort of somewhat musically informed approach to sounds with the score? Because I know, especially in combat, music is blasting, and then you get those big effects, big sounds. Like, how'd you ensure that it was not going to be like, okay, well, this completely like steals the thunder of the music, or vice versa? And
it was kind of the main challenge for us, I think, because basically the idea was we need everything up front all the time. Like, music needs to be super loud, sound effect needs to be super loud, and when someone is talking, he's supposed to be super loud. So it was kind of a challenge. And we spend a lot of time, Olivier especially, if you want to explain, on creating a good interactive mix pipeline in the game. So we have clear moments when, okay, this is music up front, this is sound effect up front. And we try to, just sequentiate everything. So not everybody is not talking at the same time, but everybody has its moment under the sunlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's we use a lot of control bus mixes in Clair Obscur, like the snapshot in Unity or state in Wise. Right, like you activate it, it will reduce the SFX and the ambience, whatever you choose, by the dB you choose for the time you choose when you activate and deactivate the thing with one node, which is very cool. And basically when it's your turn, you have the music loud, and you can choose the spell you will launch. And when you launch the spell, the music reduced by 1 or 2 dB. When there is an impact, there is a sidechain which reduces the volume of the music by, I don't remember, but there is a lot of little sidechain everywhere, plus the control bus mixes, plus Maxance in his wave of spells, he literally reduced the volume like a fidget, sidechain in the wave, which let the impact go make his life, because the impact will be always at the same moment in the character skills. So in the wave, he literally reduced by 10 dB because we know the impact will be there, or there will be no impact because the player just missed the QTE. So we can just do it like that. And it helped a lot, like reducing low frequencies and things like that in the wave directly.
Okay.
Yeah. We also try to have our assets as mix ready as possible. So, for example, the music for the game was mixed, was pretty compressed, very mixed on the sides. So the mid of the audio field is kind of is a little bit less crowded, so it leaves some space for the sound effect and for the voices. Like we said earlier, the sound effect was reworked directly on the wave of each skill sound effect to create dynamic into there. So we try to work a lot on the preparation of the asset, and then thanks to real-time mixing, it kind of blend together. But to be fully honest, we were happily surprised by the end result, because as the mix pipeline of Unreal Engine, it is not the easy one to master. We really didn't feel confident about having a solid mix in the end. So we were pretty happy when we played the game in the end to see, okay, this is kind of works together. And we were trying to pay attention to ear fatigue as well, because everything is very impactful, especially the hit sound. And we tried to find the right balance. Often we ask around to the dev team, okay, is it too much? Is it like just too loud, too much? And in the end, we kind of find the right balance to keep everything kind of impactful and epic, but not too much, so it doesn't overload the players. And doesn't break their speakers as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you're talking about sort of, getting these assets ready, and you're talking about, mixing them so they're sort of game ready. And so I'm kind of curious about how music fits into that whole thing. The music is loud. The music it's present. It's there. I imagine that you have gotten like stems from Lorraine, that you're mixing into the game. How did you mix those to sort of work with the sound effects?
So Lorient did a final mix of his track. It's actually sent me some already mixed and mastered stem, and I reworked the mixed heavily for the game. And so sometimes you won't hear the same mix in the game and in the OST. Sometimes they can be even really different. Like for example, there is a lot of voice in the OST, and I tried to rework the mix. So especially the lead voice in the center is really quieter in the gameplay mixes, let's say that. So it doesn't take too much space in the front channel. And I tried to have, again, a very consistent mix and mastering chain. So basically every track were mixed the same way. And there is a lot of music, so in the end it was kind of automatic to mix a new track. And we worked a lot on the editing as well to try to balance the intensity of the music so it doesn't overload the player. At first we were kind of afraid that there were too much voices, that player could get tired of hearing somebody singing throughout the game. And we thought that, I think Alice's voice is the voice singer and composer. It's kind of one of the best elements of the OST, but it could have broken the OST if it was too much. So we tried to find the right things, the right level of voice. And sometimes so for example, at some part of the game, there is some randomization. So sometimes you have voice, sometimes you have not. Like I said, the mix, the voice is quieter in the center and put on the side of the mix. And at some points, we also decided to completely remove the voice in some part, just so there is voice when we want to, especially during the big boss fights, but not too much.
Yeah, the voice definitely is I guess when I think about the game, when I think about the sound of the game, I can imagine for a lot of people, that's the first thing they think about. It's a very distinctive part of the sound experience. Which is interesting because it sounds like you're taking different approaches with it. I know in the A Sound Effect article that you guys released, you mentioned how using the voice in almost an ambient way, if I'm not mistaken. Can you describe what you mean when you say that?
At some part, in some tracks, voice is very present and is acting as the lead instrument, and in some parts, it's kind of a background instrument. And also during the music editing, I had a lot of liberty to adapt the track and sometimes create some light variation. So I always had an auxiliary track in my Reaper template called Space, and everything I sent to that tracks become a pad and an ambience. And at some point I would create some variation with the voice sent through that, just to create a very ethereal version of the voice, just especially in the small levels of the game, which they didn't have any music written specifically for them for the very small levels, so I had to create some variation, and it was nice to just take the voice, make a pad out of it, keep a few instruments in the background, just to, you still have this very distinct voice in the music, but it's really in the background. It doesn't take too much attention.
Right. It's crazy to think that even after all the music that was composed for this game, there were still some areas where you needed more. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, my first impression when I joined the project was, okay, you need to stop composing. There is too much music. There is no way we can put this much music in the game, but I didn't realize the scope of the game at first. And in the end, Lorient actually composed new tracks between the golds and the day one patch because we didn't have enough combat tracks for the whole game. So he wrote new combat tracks right until the end. We really needed those more than 8 hours of music.
Yeah, and the style really, it varies. You know, it can sound operatic at one point, and then there can be like weird synths and electric guitars, and all of a sudden a completely different genre of music. Was this kind of jarring for you guys at first, or does this fit into the genre of game? To have this many styles? Or?
Was it like that before you guys joined? Like as you arrived, was it already very varied, the soundtrack?
Yeah, I think. I don't know how it was when you joined, Maxance.
That was like this when I came.
Okay.
Yeah, the ideas have always been there, but I don't know if they are the music actually. Like I don't know if the Monaco theme was done. Which is the most wider one, I think.
Right.
But the ideas were always there, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I think it works because you have so much different flavor in the game, different visual inspiration. So it works to have also a lot of musical inspiration as well because, there is a lot to see, so there is a lot to hear as well.
Is that a gestural? Stop that, you big hairy brush face. Can't you see they're human? Noko's a bit dramatic, but if you're nice, Noko will trade you lots of useful items for chroma.
The gestuals. This is a super interesting one. I remember where you guys mentioned how you recorded some of your colleagues, I think.
Yeah.
And you recorded a bunch of different variations. I was kind of curious because it sounds like you recorded a range of different emotions per line, and then it sounds like you must have had so much material for the gestuals. How did you parse through this? How did you manage to implement it in a way that makes sense? Because actually when I listen to them, it really does sound like they're saying the thing that they're saying. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, there is. We did two things for the gestural. We did some, let's say, some generic voices. So we worked on it with Theo. He kind of generated a cloud of words, a bit of consistent with each other. He made a big image out of it, and we displayed that on the TV in the studio. And we first recorded some generic emotions. So we just asked people, okay, take some random words from the picture, do this kind of pronunciation. So we try to make them having a distinct voice. And we asked them to do some different emotion. And then we ended up with some kits with like sadness, short, long, sadness, question, interrogative, short, long, happy, normal, happy, interrogation, short, long, and stuff like that. And I think we created 5 or 6 type of gestural. So short one, kids, tall, big one. And we gave that to one of the game designer who was working on the quest and those kind of dialogue, and he plugged everything. So we didn't choose which one is going where. We created the kit and we give it to them. So he plugs the voices wherever he wants and chose each time the best voice, the best emotion. And then for the scripted line, especially for the important gestural, so like Noko, we we actually showed the script to the people, and we put each time the important word in bold, and we ask, okay, do some gibberish, but says this important word in kind of French, Italian, Spanish, stuff like that, just so we can give a reminiscence of what it's actually talking about. And we even recorded a few stuff with the cinematic in the background. So it's easy as they wear a mask. There is no lip sync to bother about, but we just had to get the timing right. And yeah, we recorded all the scripted lines for that because it was actually inspired by what Ubisoft Montpellier did on Valiant Hearts, which is a game it's completely gibberish, but each time you have one French word which stand out, and it works super well. And I took the idea from there and tried to do the same thing with the gestural. Yeah, it was super funny to record just the dev team.
I think most of the line were recorded and handled by Theo. Yeah, and you were on the audio room at Sandfall, and we have a screen with a lot of random words in the screen, and he asked some people to come to the room and say something, and you just keep your eyes looking random world and
super
say
fascinating,
things.
right?
And it works. And at this, when he starts doing that with Maxence, we're like, it's not that good, right? But everyone was like, it's so cool, and we're like, okay, we don't tell this to anyone.
Just keep quiet.
I know people on internet, like people were like, oh, Gestural, it's so cool, and we're like, my God, my audio thing is completely broken.
Oh no, we're doing the minions again.
Yeah. Like, what is the good and the bad?
I mean, it's super interesting. It's what I'm hearing from a couple of you guys right now is that there's a really good collaboration that you have with the rest of the team, right? You talking about these non-audio people listening to this language, and they're like, "Yeah, it's good," and you guys are like, "Is it good?" And also, Raph, when you're talking about making these sounds and just giving it to a cinematic designer and letting them use that sound to put in the game, which I find super fascinating. You must have had to really be clear with, okay, these sounds are for this, these sounds are for this, for someone who's not an audio person to sort of then use and understand. Did you have to like debrief them on sort of like?
No, I think not really. I think there were just a lot of trust with the rest of the dev team. And what's nice is everybody's really caring about the audio of the game. So yeah, just for that, it was more, okay, we produced this material, but actually you're the one who is writing the dialogue for the quest, so you're the one who knows what will be best. And we just trusted him to put the right voice at the right moment. And we also had a super audio attentive QA team. We didn't add a specific audio QA team, but the QA team was just really paying attention to the sound of the game. And so they spotted each time the sound of the gestural was not consistent with its size, they would just flag a Jira, and it will go back to the quest designer just to sort it out. But we were just trusting him to do it right, and he did it right. And for another example, Guillaume himself, our creative director, he plugged a lot of sound in the game, and we trusted his taste. Sometimes we just went after him just to redo a bit of stuff, so it's correct on the technical side, and it's more just to refine what he did. But he actually put a lot of placeholder sounds directly in the cinematic, some sounds on the skill, some sound on the attack. And in the end, we really trusted him to say, okay, this sounds good, because he's the creative director, and we trusted that he have the overall view of the game. We have the view on the sound of the game, but he has the overall view. And so sometimes, like Olivier said, we can be so focused on the quality of the sounds that it's hard to just take a step back and analyze this just as a player. and Guillaume was playing his own game all the time. So when Guillaume said, okay, it's good enough, we trusted him, okay, it's good enough.
Right. Okay. I'm curious because I feel like we've talked about a lot of topics audio related, but we haven't spoken about the more quiet bits. And I mean, I feel like they're equally as important as combat, at least as a player. So, I mean, the identity, like you were mentioning, the gestuals, and when you get to the gestural village, you have a vibe that is there, that is not only because of the voice and the language they have, but also just the overall aesthetic, the soundscapes that are there. And then it's the same thing when every time you go to a biome to fight another big Nevron and stuff, you get the aesthetic that goes with this, I guess, gigantic creature. And I'm just curious, how did you guys sort of approach building these ambiences and these more quiet elements of the game?
You talk about the ambience pad and things.
Yeah, and how distinct they are per like biome you go.
So basically, it's like looking the map. There is a lot of things in the map that we can add sound, so it's at least it's very easy to do the ambience.
Okay, so it's informed by the visuals,
yeah, absolutely. On the visual, there is a lot of things to approach sound, so it's basically more by the way than thinking out of the box. And in the our ambience system is totally basic too, because we add like triggers and spawn point where you can spawn when you go into the game or when you die and things like that. And when you go through this thing, it will just swap the ambiences where you are going to. Okay. So like when you are going into a cave, we will have the sound of the cave and things like that. It's at least very basic. And there is although 3D sound put in the map, like if there is a waterfall, or if there is I don't know what's the name of the map before the Landmaster, in the same
Stonewave Cliff.
Stonewave. In this map, there is a lot of rain and there is a lot of metallic things, and there is a sound of metallic rain at this point, but like drag and drop into the wall. It's Alex worked a lot of the ambiances. Alexandre, it was his main thing, but he goes into the map and like added sound where it needs, and reverb. It's like ambient volume room in Unreal with send to some mix.
I guess it's handy when a game doesn't have like dynamic rain or anything. You can just put these in and not worry about it. And I feel like the sort of the way that the sort of ambiences and the environments in this game feel, it's very like authored. It's one of those games where it's just like have a sound here, have a sound there, and because it's linear-ish, I guess, the experience. But in terms of like the palette of sounds for these biomes, and I think you guys mentioned it again in that sound effect article, in that like there are nevrons that are specific to certain biomes. Did that inform how you designed the soundscape for these biomes as well? Was there any kind of shared content or shared source that kind of unified, like, oh, this biome has this nevron, so it sounds like this? Did you think along those lines?
I don't know. I think not, but I don't know, Maxence, if
can you
if we use some SFX battle sound into the ambient sound and vice versa?
No, just sometimes you have some little sequence in world sequence. So you have some, for example, an enemy who smash the ground or stuff like this, and yes, we put some battle sound for them.
But at least maybe Alexandre did that because he was working above, not above, that's in front of Theo. Above Theo is something real, but in front of Theo. And we were talking a lot during the day. So probably Theo were saying like, I'm using a disperser on Flying Waters monster. Oh, I will use a disperser on Ambiance's sound in Flying Waters. I don't know, maybe. You know.
Well, I mean, there's definitely a cohesion that each biome has that I feel like it sounds like there's some related content happening, that everything is fitting in their own unique world in that way.
I think it's also... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I think maybe he used some vocal monsters, but with like a lot of reverb and playing very far. Maybe, but I don't know.
Okay.
And I think as the visual is very strong, it kind of gives a very clear vision, a very clear direction to follow. So yes, that's why you have, like, if we take Flying Waters again, Flying Waters kind of looks like you are underwater. So naturally, all the neurons are looking a bit aquatic, and all of the ambiences are sounding a bit aquatic as well, with bubble, watery sound and stuff like that. So it's the direction is very clear. It was sometimes easy to do something that is consistent, even if it's each one on our side. Same for the music. The music for Flying Waters sounds also very aquatic with some bubbly texture and stuff like that. So it all comes together, and as we share a lot of what we do as work in progress on Discord. So yeah, like Olivier said, I think a lot of stuff we kind of influence each other in our work, because we are always listening, sending videos of work in progress stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it makes sense. If the visuals are strong and they're unique looking, things will align if there's like a sort of guiding vision for everything.
Talk a lot with audio people. Like we have a room for us. There is no other people. So we were talking along the day on what people are doing. If someone is blocked into a sound, like he can ask some help or things, and it's probably helped.
Right, yeah. So that makes me curious, like, were you at all working in similar areas at the same time?
Yeah, at I think two years ago, when we come from the outsourcing company and we go to Sandfall, we were all at Sandfall in the manor, because Sandfall is a manor. In a manor.
Yeah.
And we had a room for us. Raphael were not here because he were building his house.
And I'm living far from Montpellier. So
he's not living in Montpellier. Right. But everybody were at Montpellier. And Maxence is in Korea since 9 months, actually. So
right. Yeah, there's a proximity there. You guys, it sounds like there's a lot of great communication.
Yeah.
Maybe we should move on to... We haven't talked about cinematics at all. Dan, you have a question?
I was about to ask some combat questions, but we can go cinematics first. Feels like...
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for the combat. Yeah.
Which one? We go combat or we go cinematics?
Let's go combat, yeah.
Okay, because I feel like as we previously mentioned, like there is a big contrast between the sort of exploration, more quiet and immersive side of things, and then you get in combat and it's almost more like it's very cinematic, and it feels almost like an action movie every time something starts, or an anime. It's just very bombastic and in your face, and I felt like we talked about it a bit, but in terms of tech, I wanted to ask, what kind of tools did you use to do basically to ensure that the mix was clear and conveyed the sort of intensity while always being readable?
There is not a lot of tech hard thing, actually.
Okay.
Like when you open a sequence of a monster, like a monster, it just take the luster, for example, like he's jumping around you and hitting you. You can add a sound in an event, and this event you can choose the audio component where you want to play the thing, And if you want to keep it following the component, or if you want to let it spawn and let be where it's fired, like if a monster is hitting the ground, you don't want to have the dust and the rock broken into following the the hammer, for example, and you want it to into the ground, so we can just play it at the same location. And you can choose that. And as we have a lot of sound that is the same into environment and into battle, which can be played not into a sequence but into an animation. We have an animation notify, which which detect if the sound is played by combat BP or by an environment BP, because there is a different blueprint for every monster behind the battle and the environment. So we can just choose like, is the BP component is in battle or in the environment, and just choose the right one. And when it chooses the battle, there is a new attenuation, which is like an infinite attenuation, because as the area of the battle can be much longer and different when there is a different monsters. Like if the monster is tiny, the area will be smaller, and if there is a larger monster, the arena will be larger. So the attenuation can't be fidged. Can be frozen. They have to be infinite. So when you play a sound into a battle, you can hear the sound around the map. But as they are always played into only battle, it's not a problem.
Okay, and you guys use vanilla Unreal Audio, right?
Yeah.
For this?
Yeah.
Okay, for the whole project. And how did that go?
It was kind of an adventure at first, because we had to learn how to use it, and the documentation was not super completed. So there is a lot of stuff where we actually had to just test stuff, and sometimes just to do some A/B tests to compare scenarios and see, okay, this is happening like that, this is behaving like that, so probably it works like that. But yeah, what is nice, we did everything with MetaSound, so we created some presets, especially for the interactive music system, which is all based in MetaSound and blueprints. Like Olivier explained, he created a lot of anim notify, so we can kind of get some custom events in the cinematic, in the sequence and in the cinematics. But basically the game is actually pretty simple on the text side. As Maxence explained earlier, a lot of stuff are actually linear. So all the main character sounds is just one wave. For enemy sounds, it's different waves because their attack can be interrupted, there can be slow motion, but it's still happening on the sequence. So we don't have a lot of shiny technical system, and we chose to keep it simple because we were a small team, we were a pretty junior team, so we didn't want it to get too much into trouble with complicated tech.
Right.
And as everything is done in the engine, it was really easy to have our programmer attaching to the audio, attaching audio to other systems. So yeah, everything is very tied up everything is very connected in the engine, as everything is happening in the same software.
But in the article, you mentioned the parry system being quite a challenge to get, I guess, the anticipation of the attacks and everything, right? Was it made easier by having everything like sort of nested in Unreal and using all the same tools and same box, basically?
Maxence, it's your turn.
Yes, I don't think that's help for that was a problem. I think at first with Guillaume, I just did the classical whoosh when the enemy try to just have an attack on you. But that was difficult to block it often. I don't know why. Sometimes perhaps it's the animation or because the camera is locked, so it's not like in Dark Souls you can move your camera and have the best angle to show the attack, stuff like this. So sometimes that was very difficult, and Guillaume asked if we can have a sound perhaps extra diegetic to help the player, and I don't wanted at all have extra diegetic sound because it will be probably the same like a beep alarm, and it feel like I failed to help. It's like we failed to have a good gameplay, so we have to try it to cheat. So I tried to create one sound. We call it the sweep sound. It's like little high pitch sound, very short, and we put it in the whoosh, and I add it so in every whoosh, and I tried with my feeling to put it right before the hit. So we don't have a system to have exactly the same millisecond between the hit and the sweep. Because that was impossible to do, too complicated. So I did it with my feeling. So that's not 100% consistent. And for example, when Theo, who did the battle with me, he don't have the same feeling of me. So sometimes that was not consistent. I have to go back to his files to put it myself. And after this, I found another solution to have a better system, but that was too late. So you have two systems in the game. You have the sweep sound, and the other, we call it the glissando whoosh because I did it for the glissando. And this time I just I create a whoosh, and in this whoosh you have a short, very quiet attack, and a big whoosh sound, and after a very quiet release, and I put the hit sound, the hit sword when you get it, when the sound is very quiet. So it look like this.
Right. Okay. So you can anticipate the attack. Like there's like it goes with the transient. Yeah.
Yes, it's very clear, and for the mix it's better because you don't have a big whoosh release. It's very quiet, so you have whoosh and peak from the hits. And I use the tricks. Is I have a wave, an empty wave with just kick sound at the moment the hits will happen, and I use this as a reference in the sequencer to put every whoosh sound, and after I exchange the empty wave with a kick with a real whoosh, so you have always the same anticipation sound, and the same millisecond between the hits and the whoosh, and that was better technique and more clear. But I did it too late, and I asked, can I change every whoosh on the game with this? And that was too late because that was a few months.
Yeah.
Yes, perhaps 6 months before
it's like November or December.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot to do. Yeah.
Yes,
because
so
it sounds like
enemy have this. Yes, some enemy have the glissando whoosh and some have the old. But they look similar, but just one is more consistent.
Okay.
Now this zwip and whoosh, every attack has it. Every enemy attack has it. Now,
not exactly. You have every whoosh sound when you have a weapon, but sometimes you have some skill without a weapon, like magical skills, and you don't have this. And we find another solution, and we try to always have something like a reading before the hits, because sometimes you have a lot of attacks who are instantly, like here like this, and in one moment, poof, you have the attack without a projectile or nothing. It's just instant. So we always try to find a way, even it didn't match with the VFX, but always something like a toop, and after you have the hit or something before to have a reference for the player.
Yeah, actually, I think
for
it's
this kind of attack.
the Lamp Master, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has one attack where he shoots you with bells. Is it bells?
It's a lamp, but it sounded like
the
bells.
lamps. I feel like there's like there's some visuals where it's like 1, 2, 3, then he shoots, almost like a rhythm game.
Yeah.
So
sometimes, for example, one of the example of what we did, I don't know if you remember the Demeanor. It's like in flying water with he have a lightning attack, but you have nothing to help you. So he did like he puts its hand on the air, and after you have a electric shock falling on you, but you have nothing to help you. So I just add like a electric explosion just before the hit, almost with the same timing with the sweep sound whoosh, even if you don't have any VFX, just to help you. So a lot of players was like, it's impossible to parry. And after they said, with the sound, I can help you. And it's the only way to parry it almost.
So I imagine that, because it's highly subjective as to, is this providing enough of a tell that I can parry it? This must have taken a lot of playtesting amongst the team. Did you get a lot of feedback from the rest of the team as far as what's doing the right job?
I think the most feedback we had comes from Guillaume on the parry things. Yeah. Because in the audio team, we don't play the game enough. And it's like 1 point of our postmortem. Like we have to play more the game. Because we're like, we have to do a lot of things. We don't have the time to play. And Guillaume will like, play the game, guys. You don't know what you're doing. And Guillaume talk a lot of, playtest a lot of the game. And he adjusts sometimes the sweep sound. And he talk about us when there is some problem and things. So yeah, it's most of the time it was Guillaume.
Nice, cool. I think we should talk about cinematics because Raph, as you've mentioned, there's like 4.5 hours of cinematics for a small team. That is just insane. I think you guys mentioned in that article that for the final mix, it's something like 15 minutes each or something that you had dedicated time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Olivia,
it was
crazy.
very fast. Yeah.
So I imagine that. 15 minutes. You must have had a plan at that point of like how you tackle each single one.
You have to be a robot at this moment.
There you go.
I don't remember. I think it was like 2 or 3 days for everything to get mixed, and I knew that I had some cutscene that the mix were fine or close to be fine. And it was Flying Waters, Ancient Sanctuary, and Vallon Fleuri in French, Spring Meadows. I knew these 3 maps got a good mixes. So I just take one cutscene, open all the first, I think it was more in Ancient Sanctuary because there is more explosion and things. So it was better to compare. And I open one cutscene, and Ancient Sanctuary, and I open all the cutscene of another map, and I hearing the ambient sound of Ancient Sanctuary, and go to another map, hearing the pad sound, like, this one is louder, I reduce this, it's the same as the first, okay, go to the third of go to the second of the map, and I make this for all the cutscene of the map, and next I go to on the Foley, and next I go to the SFX, and next and after to the music, and I don't listening a lot of the final result in Reaper, because when you add something in Reaper, it's not the same in Unreal. So I do something in Reaper and then I put everything in Unreal, and after I just try and see.
Right. So you mixed it a lot in Unreal. You had different stems, kind of. Is what
in
you're
Unreal?
saying. Yeah.
No.
Oh no! All you're saying
That's
is that
the problem.
So the premix basically. The
Yeah. It's a 5.1 surround wave. That's a problem. Like we have to if we have a lot of cutting in the next game, I don't know for the moment, but we have to separe everything because it's not valuable.
Yeah, we just had the music, the sound effects, and the voices separated. But a lot of stuff kept evolving in the game, in the cinematic, right throughout the end, and so a lot of manual adjustments were done directly on the stems, on those stems. So it would have been easier to actually have all the stems available directly in the engine to do the mix in the engine.
Right.
And there is a little trick that there is a little sidechain into the SFX and the music from the voices. So when there is a voice line, it will reduce like by 2 or 3 dB the rest. So you can understand more the thing they are saying.
Okay. And you brought up VO, Raph, about cinematics and everything, but what kind of voice pipeline did you guys have when it comes to cinematics and ensuring it?
Well, we didn't have a super pipeline. Sorry, there's my baby waking up from nap. We didn't have a super solid pipeline. At first, most of the cutscenes were captured with motion capture. So we had the placeholder voices directly into the sequencer. Then from the script, Jen, the narrative director and writer, she also handled the voice production pipeline. So she was responsible for all the casting, relationship with the recording studio. And so we received all the VO file at first, so the English file at first. And we said right in front, we are responsible for the quality of the audio file, but we are not responsible for their timing. So it was actually the cinematic team who replaced the placeholder voices by the real voices themselves. And it's also a good side of having everything in the engine is that for the cinematic artists, they could actually have the voice file with the waveform directly into the sequencer. So for them, it was easier to work on the lip sync, to properly time the voice file directly in the sequencer, which would have been more difficult if they just had like an event with no visual aid. Once all the voice file had been resynchronized, we did a first post-production phase on it, and I think we did 2 passes of post-production just to get it right. And at the end, I think Olivier, we did like a final automatic pass on everything, because we had a lot of leveling issues between very quiet voices, very high voices, very loud voices. But we really missed a proper pipeline because a lot of stuff was done manually. And so when we tried to do the French version, it was a nightmare because we had to, because some of the voices had been duplicated, re-edited, splitted directly in the engine. Sometimes a cinematic voice was, a dialogue voice was reused in a cinematic. Sometimes we also recorded some, let's say some word bank of, oh yes, I see, stuff like that which were later used into actual cinematic. But those voice lines were not named properly, that were not subtitles. And so when we tried to reconsolidate the script for the French version, it was really a nightmare because we spent the whole summer, I think, working with Olivier to try to gather everything, to compare a list of files, just to give the French studio a proper batch of voice line. I think we kept delivering them voice line the week before the actual recording session because we didn't have any voice management tool. So yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah,
But it we didn't lost any voice, and strangely enough, we didn't add any unlocalized voice line in the end, so we didn't miss anything at the recording, which is kind of a miracle, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
How?
Yeah, I don't know how, but yeah, we ended up having everything dubbed properly for the French version.
Oh my god. Okay, that's impressive. Sounds like it might be a good segue to talk about the sort of key takeaways you guys had from the whole production as a whole. Obviously, having a VO pipeline, one of these. But was there anything else, anything in particular, like as a team, that you guys came up with in your postmortems?
I think one thing that clearly stands out is that sincerity and doing things with your guts can lead to better results than doing things perfectly. I think there is a lot of stuff that we purposefully didn't did the right way because we didn't knew how to do it the right way. Like the mix of the cinematic, it's not a proper 5.1 mix.
Okay.
It's a very simple and kind of chilled 5.1 mix. The music in the game, it's just mixed in stereo and manually sent to the rear channel just to kind of get a sense of surround. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff that we knew we couldn't master exactly as it should, but we tried to do it in a very sincere way. And I think it's the same for the music, for example. The music is sometimes it's vary a lot in terms of production and stuff like that, but Lorient really did it the way he wanted to do it. Maxence, I think, did the same for the sound effect. And yeah, we knew we weren't doing the perfect, technically exact video game, but we tried to do the best and to do things that we liked. And I think it worked because it was not really industry standard on a lot of stuff. To be honest, for me, I kind of had to be debunked on a lot of industry standard. Like, okay, no, you can't do that, or you have to do that. And sometimes, I know, I had a lot of conversation like that with a guy like, okay, why? I don't know, because this is how people use it. Okay, this is a good question, why? And there is a lot of stuff we ended up just not doing, just to keep it simple, and it worked. And it allowed us to actually ship the game, because we couldn't have done both, like having some perfectly mixed cinematic and having all the cinematic done in time. Right. But yeah, I think keeping it simple and sincere was one of my key takeaways.
It's funny because when we were writing the sound effect article, we at least wrote pretty much the same thing with Raphael. Like I wrote, and I read like the thing Raphael wrote, and I was like, I just say the same thing. Don't think like you can be the best audio game and things like that. Just you have things to do. You love where you are working. People are fine. Just work, and it will be good at least if the team is working and things like it's complicated. But a lot of Sandfall spirit comes from these things. Like everyone is cool with everyone. The team is so great. So the game will be good at least. It's a bit like that. But yeah, I think when we are working on the game, the main thing was to prioritize a lot the things. Like when I start working on the cutscene, I was only created the first pass I made was only creating the main SFX. Like you were hearing the game, there is no Foley, there is no little sound, there is only the big VFX, the big explosion, and it just was so weird because like the guy is walking, there is no sound, and one moment there is an explosion, and you are like, "Whoa!"
Surprise!
It's exactly that. Like we had to surprise the player. Like when there is something important, it have to surprise the people.
Right.
And we worked a lot with this mind in the game, and I think it's the same in at Sandfall. Like not only on the audio team, it's the same on the rest of the audio. And when we have the time, we will add the footsteps.
Yeah, that's it.
They'll come.
Yeah.
Actually,
you
we
work
had the time because we take Charlie, the internship. We work like 80% of the footsteps.
Right.
Yeah, he did a lot of
and
the
the Follies.
the
He was
Follies.
on footstep duty.
Yeah, footstep
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And
That's
then you
how
have,
we
yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I
sorry.
just want to say, like, and then you have Lune, which makes it very simple in terms of footsteps.
Yeah,
True.
but
She
flies
I made her footstep before she's flying. So.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay.
So they pulled a fast one on you, and they were like, actually, she's gonna fly.
But at least
Yeah, but
it's
she can walk, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Right,
it's a very good thing that she flying, because a lot of players were like, I love playing Lune because she's flying and I can more hear the music
Oh,
and the
interesting.
ambiances. So it's actually probably the great idea of the footsteps.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's true. We worked a lot horizontally on the ball game, and it was not the very most comfortable way to do it, because I think the guys had to rework 4 or 5 times on the same cinematic just to do each time different paths. But we always try to have everything consistent and to have the whole game as good as possible as we could, because we often thought, okay, if this is when this is going to be released, we have to be prepared. Or if this build is going to be a demo, we have to be prepared. And so kind of everything leveled up in the same time. You didn't have like, except for the 2 or 3 first level, which was kind of the benchmark levels we did for demos and for builds or events. For journalists or events, we tried to really have everything progressing at the same time. So you didn't have a lot of quality difference between this level or this level, because everything was evolving at the same time. And the game reached its final quality just at the end, because it was at the end that everything reached its final quality. And I think it was the same for you, Maxence, where you rework again and again on the skills and on the event attack, just to keep leveling up the quality right until it's finished.
Yes. Yes, that was one of the things we did the most. Is redo the skills, and that was not a bad thing finally, because when I create, for example, the main character sound, that was very organic. So that was not like I did one character, I finish it, and after I did another one, and after we finish, it's like I improve. I always find some new sound. I would like to add it in every characters, and so every polish of the skills grow up like this until the end. Sometimes I was like, oh, I love this sound effects. I would like to put it everywhere in all characters, so I redo a pass and
right.
so yes. And I think it's work a bit like this in all Sandfall. I think it's probably different than Ubisoft thing, but everything grew up a little bit like this, and we redo.
Yeah, that makes
because
sense.
Everyone creates things very fast, and they want to have something playable very fast, and after we continue to improve it.
Yeah, it's a great way to sort of keep things cohesive too across the game if you're always sort of stepping everything up. I know sometimes a lot of productions can do the opposite, where they focus so much on their sort of beautiful corner, their vertical slice, and then that looks really good, and the rest of it is kind of maybe wonky. So it's cool to hear about this more horizontal approach. I think we're nearing the end now. Thank you for taking this long a time to talk to us. It's really appreciate it. We always end these with the same question, and we'll ask each one of you to answer individually. But that is, if you can give yourself any piece of advice during, let's say if you were talking to yourself at the beginning of when you started this game, if you give yourself any advice now that you've shipped the game, what would that be? So we'll bring the bus, since Maxence, you were just talking.
Right.
The bus loves you.
You're on the bus.
One advice for me. Oh yes, it's not exactly an advice, but it's the fact that I never work in the other company before, and I don't have a standard, I don't have anything, so I just do sound design like I wanted to do, and that's something it's changed. Yes, something shapes the sound design of the battle in Clair Obscur. And yes, I'm very happy to don't be too focused on standard and do something you like and with your reference, your background. And so yes, continue to keep your personality even it's not in the standards.
Yeah. That's a great
Okay.
one. No, it's a good
It's a
one.
nice one. It's a nice one.
Ouais.
Nice
Yes,
buzz,
yes.
nice buzz. I think you have to return the buzz to Raphael.
Yes, to Raphael.
Yes, thanks. I think Olivier, you are really you're staying safe. I think weirdly for me, it will just be a good. It's going to be okay. But to be honest, for me, it was my first experience leading a team. It was really not in my career plan at first. And at a lot of moments, I thought, okay, maybe I'm just leading this team into a wall and it's not going to be okay. There is so much moment when I thought, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to take decision just so we have a clear path and they don't have to keep thinking, okay, what are we going to do? But sometimes I would say, okay, let's do that. And I was thinking, maybe it's the wrong decision. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I think when the game was released and I saw that people liked the sound of the game, it was just a release to thought, okay, I didn't mess it up. But because it was the first, and I think for a lot of us, it was the first time for everything. So now we can take a step back and think, okay, this worked out, this didn't work out, and we can make things better. But I think just knowing that it was going to be okay would, I think, very helpful, and also just to not pick my brain too much. I think there is some moment when I was maybe trying to overcomplicate a bit some things, and just keep it simple, stupid. It will just going to work fine, it did. It was super encouraging when we saw that. But there is a lot of moments of uncertainties throughout the project.
Cool.
I think at least you you don't put the bus in the wall.
Yeah.
because we talk a lot. Raphael say something, I agree. Maxence agree. It's like done and everything's good. Raphael say something, I don't agree, and we will talk like why I'm not agree, and we'll find the reality.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the best thing, and you can tell something to Raphael and we'll never be like, no, I'm the chief. So it's actually a good way to lead, I think.
Thanks. That's appreciated.
Right on.
And it's my turn to take the bus.
It is your
turn.
Yeah.
You submit it yourself.
I think it's if I don't how to say that, if I try to do something, sometimes I will be like 2 hours on doing something and be, I can't do that. It's too complicated. And sometimes you have just to walk into the street and the idea will come alone. And I think it's good things to do. Like, don't block into a thing too much. Like, if you do something and you are spending a lot of time, like, do anything else. And when I block like 10 minutes, I change the task, and I always change the task all my day. I like changing my tasks because it's very like remue-ménage in French. I don't know, like burning the brain. And it's, I think, a good way to get some ideas, because ideas come from nowhere. Like, you are not sit into a chair and like finding the ideas. It's never come like that. It's with talking and with doing anything else, and your background brain will work for you. So use this. Actually, I always work with this mind. And now Raphael told me to do something on the morning, and at the end of the day I don't do the thing, and I made another thing. Like, Raphael, I made a Spine Voxango in Unreal.
Right.
And yeah, but when we have time.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think any developer...
Don't do useless things too. You have to stay focused.
Yeah. No, but it's great advice. I feel like most people who work in development know that feeling of like rabbit holing on a single thing and being like, wait, I'm spending so much time on this. Get up, go pet your cat, go make a coffee or something. Yeah, it's important. It's important. Right on.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I guess as we're about to face the gommage of this meeting, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know, like, you guys are probably very busy with the whole, whatever you guys are working on, prepping for GDC, family life, and all that stuff. So, huge thank you to everyone.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for having us, guys, and thanks a lot again for waking up so early just to accommodate with our time zone. It's really appreciated.
All good. I mean, thank you for being here, and now we're awake.
Yeah,
it's almost 7 now, so now we can.
Yeah, now you can start your day and have a good
time
breakfast.
To take a nap.
That's also a good idea. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, cool.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks, bye.
Looking for more audio-related podcasts to listen to? We're part of the Audio Podcast Alliance, featuring a hand-picked selection of the very best podcast about sound. Be sure to hear the latest episodes from our friends in the community at audiopodcast.org.